Hey guys, I am Hellhound, and yesterday I reviewed Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, one of the best sequels to one of the best horror movies of all time. Now, I feel like the first two Hellraiser movies are the only two truly great entries in the series, and everything after that is just kind of pales in comparison. But I do really enjoy parts 3 and 4 on an entirely different level. Everything that came after that is mostly unwatchable. Some of it's okay, and there's some watchable parts and some good moments, but most of it can't compare to the first four movies. But anyway, so yeah, today I'm going to look at Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. And yeah, this was basically the first movie that kind of put the main focus on the Pinhead character, played by Doug Bradley once again. Getting tongue tied already. Doug Bradley is awesome. He's just a horror icon, and like nobody can play Pinhead the way he does. It's just like Robert Englund and Freddy. Doug Bradley is the one and only Pinhead, and he's just great. Yeah, he excels in every scene that he's in, and he really steals the show. And I love seeing a lot of him. However, I think he worked a lot better. I think Pinhead was a lot more effective when he was more of a minor character, when he was in the background. In the first two movies, he just kind of came to collect souls that escaped the clutches of the Cenobites, evil people that escaped from hell, and was summoned from the puzzle box, of course. And that was a lot better. In this movie, he's the main villain. It's basically like a generic, kind of cliche slasher movie. Yet it lacks the substance of the first two movies. This one's not nearly as sophisticated, not nearly as effective, not nearly as compelling or insightful as the first two films. This one's a lot more fun and kind of has a more lighthearted, more comedic, more campy tone than the first two. The first two movies were very dark and very serious and pretty grounded. At least like when it comes down to it, they were like, I mean, I know it's not realistic subject matter, but it was done in like a realistic and more serious fashion. This movie's kind of started where kind of started the trend of the sequels being a little more cartoonish and a little more like a typical like meaningless horror movie. Yeah, so it's really not a worthy sequel of the first two, but it's still a lot of fun, and I still find it really amusing, although it's nowhere near the level of the first two. It cannot reach their greatness, and it's kind of more like a cheap thrill. This is like a fast food horror movie. You know you're going to have a good time, but it's not going to change your life or anything. But anyway, the basic premise is that Joey Summerskill, played by Terry Farrell, I believe her name is, she's investigating the case of a young boy who was torn apart by chains. The Cenobites in the first two movies would kill their victims with chains that would come out of nowhere and rip their flesh apart. Really cool, really gory, really great special effects there. And she teams up with a girlfriend of the victim and investigates the mystery surrounding an incident at the Boiler Room, which is a local nightclub, and the owner there, or like the son of the owner, is this really annoying asshole guy who's like a womanizer and a total pig, and he treats women terribly. He treats his employees like crap. He's just a brat. He ends up inadvertently bringing Pinhead back to life and working for him, doing his bidding there for a while. Of course, Pinhead eventually turns on him and betrays him, and then becomes loose on the city where he causes all kinds of chaos and havoc. And then Joey, the reporter, wants to get to the bottom of it, and she eventually runs into the spirit, the ghost of Elliot Spencer, who was actually the man who became Pinhead. He tampered with the puzzle box and summoned the evil demons, and his body became Pinhead while his soul wanders in limbo, and it kind of like his own hell, trying to stop his evil alter ego from causing chaos. Now, Joey was a pretty good main character, not as enjoyable as Kirsty, played by Ashley Lawrence in the first two films, but I really felt for her and really followed her story pretty well. I think the actress did a commendable job. Now, Pinhead, as I said, he works better when he's kind of in the background, and like he wasn't really that type of character. He wasn't really the type of character that was summoned from hell and unleashed upon mankind to cause chaos. He was more like an accountant that he would come from hell to, as I said, to like get more powerful and steal souls and bring people who have escaped from hell back to hell. That was kind of what he was, the Cenobites. And he's the only Cenobite in this movie from the original gang. The female's gone, the Chatterer's gone, the Butterball's gone. I really miss the original Cenobites. He creates new Cenobites. There's one that has like CDs in his head and shoots discs out of his mouth, and all these other really weird, really pretty creative though in their design, Cenobites, and they follow him, and become his henchmen. They just kind of terrorizes the city with Joey and the ghost Elliot Spencer trying to put a stop to him. That's pretty much essentially the premise. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Pretty enjoyable. Very campy. Very not nearly as serious. Kind of more of a straightforward slasher movie. And again, I feel like the Pinhead character wasn't really the type of character that would do that. Just go around killing people and spreading carnage and going on a rampage. He wasn't really that type of character. He was more. The first two movies, he played a more minor, more background role, and he wasn't the main focus. It's just like somebody said, "Oh look, that guy's in the cover of the first movie. He's in the poster artwork. Let's make him the main focus of the rest of the movies." And then as I said, it's really not that good. I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10, which is pretty generous. But again, as I said, it's a lot of fun. It's entertaining. It's a good film to watch with a bunch of friends, order a pizza. It's if you want mindless entertainment, watch this film. If you want to be moved and actually see something with style and substance, watch the first two movies. Because they're way more compelling and way more sophisticated and way better written and better told in their stories. This movie doesn't have as much of a story and doesn't have as much going on. Just Pinhead being unleashed and going around torturing people, essentially. I will say there's some good special effects. The new Cenobites scene there are kind of interesting. Has a cool design, but again, I missed the original ones. Pinhead's the only one that came back. And Doug Bradley rules. He owns every scene he's in. And while I prefer him to be a minor character and not have as many scenes, I think he's more effective that way. It's still awesome to see more of him. And his character isn't, he's not, the role he plays is different, but like the character of Pinhead itself is still pretty respective and pretty much done the same as in the first movie. Doug Bradley's still very serious. He's not like a campy comedic clown who spurts wisecracks and one-liners all the time like Freddy Krueger became in his sequels. He's still really menacing, really intimidating, and really means business. And he's pretty terrifying too. I think if I had to choose any horror villain that I wouldn't want to be after me, it'd probably be Pinhead, because he could probably destroy all the others. He could probably destroy Jason and Myers and Leatherface and even Freddy, with his chains and stuff. But yeah, this movie, I don't know, it's fun, it's enjoyable, but again, I feel like this is kind of the beginning of the end. I think that the next one, Hellraiser Bloodlines, was a little better. It was kind of an improvement because it was a little more compelling, a little more, had a little more of a more intricate storyline. Well, this one was just kind of like mindless drivel, just a typical slasher movie with a body count, but cool special effects. So Bloodlines was an improvement. I feel like that was the last truly watchable entry. Everything after that was, as I said, had some okay moments and some okay entries, but I don't plan on reviewing those because I don't even remember them, and I don't plan on watching them again. So, really, I would end with Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. But if you crave more of Pinhead, definitely see 3 and 4, and start with Hell on Earth, because again, it's pretty good. Directed by Anthony Hickok, so I think was behind some other good horror movies, and of course, based on the story by Clive Barker, who didn't have anything to do with this. There's a featurette showing some of his awesome artwork, though. Clive Barker's just awesome. But yeah, some good special effects, some good kills, some good gore, some really awesome Doug Bradley Pinhead moments, despite him, being too much of the focus here. I'd say it's still enjoyable. Definitely check out the uncut, the unrated version, the director's cut, if you can, because that's, in my opinion, that's a far superior cut. There's not a whole lot of changes. There's just like a little more blood, a little more violent scenes, and there's some scenes that didn't make it in the theatrical version, but I'd say that's definitely the better version of the two. All right, guys, well, that's Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. I think that just about covered it. Pinhead's an awesome character, but I feel like he's more effective and works a little better when he's plays kind of a lesser role. But well, what are you gonna do? All right, guys, I'm Hellhound, and thank you for watching my review. And join me next time. We'll be looking at Hellraiser Bloodlines, which I think was a slight step up, but still not nearly as good as the first two. All right, guys, later.